I think another piece about transformation, if we want people to wake up, we have to take them out of their comfort zones and expose them to opposing and conflicting people, ideas, and environments. And I think as a child, I didn't realize I was going through a transformation laboratory. My mother exposed me to people who represented different segments of the South African population, opposing segments of the South African population. We went into homes of poor white Afrikaans people who felt fear about being dominated, by a majority of African Black people who lived in the country. It was fear-based, and they lived in poor homes. So I kind of learned to understand that perspective. Many of our family friends, as I said, were Black doctors or Indian gynecologists. These were very wealthy people who were very smart, but weren't allowed to be our friends because of their skin color. Right. But they were super smart. They were super kind. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And so I think, I had this personal laboratory at the University of Life that taught me that when you're bold, when you stand up for values and principles about our common and shared humanity, our Ubuntu, I met people across every part of the political divide. And I realized that there was more that united us than separated us. I got to understand, even in the rural mission hospital, which was run by a British husband and wife team of medical doctors in a rural African area, that was more than a hospital. It was a community. And, so while there was violence going on in the streets of South Africa, I was living in environments with people who had different cultures, different skin colors, different religions, creeds. And these are people who created happy, successful communities. And so I lived in a community of Ubuntu. I learned that those self-created false beliefs about what divides us is a myth. Mm. And I think that being surrounded by these change makers and bold disruptors who were defying the sort of laws of what was going on in the country, in happy places and spaces, rural mission hospitals in Ubuntu and King Edward Hospital and Addington, Grace Hospital, white institutions where good people were doing good things. And so I think being surrounded by change makers, having bold, adventurous parents, and, my mother was threatened by the police because she had nurses who had missed some classes, came to our home to get extra classes and missed their bus on the way home and came back to the house. My mother said, well, of course you must stay here, and they stayed overnight and the neighbors reported her to the police and, she was almost arrested. But, I remember sitting around the dinner table at home where my mother said, no government will tell me who I can be friends with, what I must think and believe, and let me experience for myself the goodness, smartness, and kindness of people in the world. I will choose that. And
so how lovely. And it would have, one wishes to talk with your mother. I don't know if she's passed by now, but to ask her where she came upon her sense of agency and her ability to summon that courage to take on a whole system. That's quite remarkable. And the fact that you grew up in this kind of, this laboratory, as you said, where transformation was happening all the time. I'm quite jealous because I wish I had also grown up in that kind of laboratory.